The velvet is dusty, the gin's gone cold. A story like mine, it's a century old. I look at the door, but nobody walks through. Just a ghost of a shadow that looks a bit like you. Scars from years long ago, they don't bleed, they just glow. In the dark of the lounge, where the neon is low, tracing the lines of a life in the snow. Melts away in a glass on the bar. I'm counting the miles, but I've gone too far to find where we started, to see where we fell. The smoke is a curtain, and I'm under the spell. Years long ago, the scars, they remain. The street lamps are flickering, dying in pairs. I'm counting the steps on these cold marble stairs. My coat's turned up high to the bite of the wind. Where does a story like our story end? The city is silent, the subway is still, and I'm losing the strength, and I'm losing the will. I see my own breath like a ghost in the glass, waiting for one more shadow to pass. I pass by the window of our old cafe. The chairs are all stacked in a mournful array. The neon is buzzing in a flickering blue, painting the pavement in a shade of you. The menu is faded, the lock is all rust. A kingdom of memories turning to dust. I got a ticket to nowhere, a heart made of lead, and a million I love yous that'll never be said. It's the long goodbye under a charcoal sky. No more hello and no more why. Just the smoke in my lungs and the salt in my eye, chasing the ghost of a long goodbye. There's a train leaving east at the break of the day, taking the pieces of me far away. I'll leave my keys on the table, my heart on the floor. I won't be the woman you knew anymore. The rain is a curtain, the night is a cell, and I'm ringing the bell of a final farewell. The clock on the tower is frozen at 4, like time doesn't want to exist anymore. The fog is a blanket, the river is black, and there isn't a bridge that can carry me back. So I walk till the soles of my shoes wear away into the gray of a heartbroken day. It's a long goodbye under a charcoal sky. No more hello and no more why. Just the smoke in my lungs and the salt in my eye, chasing the ghost of a long goodbye. It's just the echoes now. The long goodbye. The city's a cabinet of curios and glass. I'm watching the porcelain hours slowly pass. The sky is a ceiling of cracked mother pearl, and I'm just a small silver plated girl, tied to a carousel that's frozen in place, with a mask of perfection glued over my face. The air is a liquid, it's heavy and blue. I'm breathing in memories I never even knew. The mirrors are greedy, they're stealing my skin, inviting the winter to settle within. We're all just figurines on a mahogany shelf, and I've become a stranger even to myself. Oh, it's the glass menagerie of 4 a.m., where the light is a needle and the night is a hem, stitching our failures to the edge of the dark, looking for a flame in a room without a spark. Careful where you step, one wrong thought and the whole world cracks. You can't glue a shadow back together once it's broken. The stars are just marbles in a dead man's hand, rolling across the black desert of sand. I'm reaching for something that isn't quite there, a ladder of smoke or a prayer made of air. The morning is coming with its hammer of gold to shatter the secrets that shouldn't be told. Oh, it's the glass menagerie of 4 a.m., where the light is a needle and the night is a hem, stitching our failures to the edge of the dark, looking for a flame in a room without a spark. Fragile, handle with care before the sun wakes up. The air is thick with the scent of a slick deception, a midnight perception of a love that was built to break. You're a polished stone, a high-tone invitation to a slow-motion station, where the only prize is a heartache. I see the steel beneath the silk of your smile. Stay for a while, let the poison settle in the glass. We're just two shadows trading lies in the lobby, making a hobby out of watching the good times pass. Your words are a choir of liars dressed in pinstripe, the vintage type of trouble that I swore I'd never touch. But here I am, leaning into the blade of your gaze, lost in a maze of maybe, and it doesn't matter much. The moon is a spotlight on a crime with physical fitness of the soul, trying to stay upright, while the city hums a hymn for the hollow and the brave, digging a grave in the middle of a neon night. It's the velvet guillotine, sharp and soft and clean, the prettiest ending that I've ever seen, falling like a curtain on a stage of broken glass, waiting for the shadow of the velvet blade to pass. The ice in my drink is a clink of a closing cell, a quiet farewell to the woman I used to be. You're a master of the craft, a draft of a dangerous code, a story told in the key of a long-lost me. So pull the cord and let the heavy fabric fall. I've seen it all, from the basement to the penthouse suite. There's a certain kind of mercy in a sudden sharp conclusion, an elegant illusion of a victory in defeat. It's the velvet guillotine, sharp and soft and clean, the prettiest ending that I've ever seen, falling like a curtain on a stage of broken glass, waiting for the shadow of the velvet blade to pass. Just a clean cut, silk and steel, make it feel like a dream. The radiators hissing out a frequency of ghosts, a pirate radio broadcast from the fence lines and the posts. I'm sitting in the kitchen where the linoleum is cold, reading tea leaves in the dregs of a story already told. The refrigerator's humming a low-octave lullaby underneath the ceiling where the damp is starting to sigh, and I'm tuned into the static, the white noise of the street, tracing out the patterns where the bone and concrete meet. The clock is ticking sideways, a stutter in the gears, collecting all the minutes I've been hiding from the years. There's a fever in the floorboards, a shiver in the glass, watching all the people that I never let pass. I'm a tenant in a temple made of plaster and of pride, with a suitcase full of secrets that I'm forced to keep inside, while the wind outside is howling like a dog without a name, searching for a window that can house its bitter flame. Oh, it's the static and the stone, the marrow and the bone, the sound of being crowded while you're standing all alone. It's a signal in the dark, a flicker in the gray, waiting for the static just to wash the world away. stations, the sound of the city breathing, exhaling the neon, inhaling the gray. It's a heavy kind of silence, isn't it? The stars are burning holes in a sky of tattered velvet, a debt that's owed to midnight, and I don't know how to shelve it. I'm a witness to the nothing, a scholar of the void, building up a vision that the morning has destroyed. So I'll turn the dial slowly till the music turns to grit, till I'm part of the machinery and every gear of it, drowning in the frequency, the hum and the drone, dissolving in the marriage of the static and the stone. Oh, it's the static and the stone, the marrow and the bone, the sound of being crowded while you're standing all alone. It's a signal in the dark, a flicker in the gray, waiting for the static just to wash the world away. Tuned into the stone, just the static now. The ink is bleeding, a bitter greeting from a street I used to call my own. I am syntax and the sinew, that tissue of lies and logic, as tragic kind of book, magic carved in monochrome and egg bone. Paragraphs are paralyzed, the eyes of the clock are heavy. Olive on the steady pulse of a mind about to fray. I'm drowning in the downbeat, counting every frown in this town, where the crown is just wreathed of an ashen gray. It's the isting of the ink, the ick, the is in the water, and slaughter of the daughter of the girl I used to be. I'm for tracing of pacing, erasing of erasing thoughts in the knots of his not so silently. There fell missing yellow F mellow kind of fat that I forgot to finish or to fail. I am riding in the lightning, in the fighting for the frightening, in tightening in the hit noose around the shadow tail. Oh, we're dancing on the inkwell's edge, teetering on the window ledge of a dream where the vowels are hollow and the consonants scream, lost in the spill of a midnight theme. A word, a wound, a period, a tomb. The comma is a hook that pulls me back into the room. The grammar of the gloom is the only tongue I speak. The spirit's getting strong, but the ink is getting weak. treasure that I've buried in the net. The script is of crypt, the here shipped has finally slipped to hear scripture that was ripped and then baptized in blood. So I'll fix stain remain the terrain of my brain. Do the rain on the pen sounds like a siren's new call. I am finished with the fluid, keep diminished like ants drew it, ruined by the writing on the crumbling city wall. Oh, we're dancing on the inkwell's edge, teetering on the window ledge of a dream where the vowels are hollow and the consonants scream, lost in the spill of a midnight theme. Dip the pen, one last line, the ink is dry. He was a collection of sharp angles inlined, a habit I couldn't quit, a shadow I couldn't chase. He had a way of folding the midnight into his pocket and leaving the elf in the cloven at distance in his place. The crease in his brow was a map to a country where the borders were liquid and the clocks always light. I was the anchor, but he was the current, a beautiful anchor for asthma with a hollow inside. He didn't speak in sentences, he spoke in fragments, like shattered glass on an unpolished parquet floor. He did linger in the doorway like a questioning mark, always halfway out, always leaning toward the door. His hands were his glossary of unfinished gestures, us blonde ambition that turned into blinding regret. I keep his absence in a velvet-lined jewelry box, the only inheritance he ever bothered to bequeath. I'm living in the architecture of a ghost, in the empty space where he used to lean, a portrait of a man made of smoke and of toast, the most haunting structure that I've ever seen. He didn't leave a note, he just left, the way a candle leaves a room, first the flame, then the smoke, then the smell of something burning, then just the dark. Now I find his shadow. The sun was a sledgehammer hitting the white of the wise air, blinding kind of reminder that the mercy had nowhere to hide. I met him in Casablanca before the ink of the soul is slinking home and the harbor tide I was carrying inside. We were sipping on a mint and misfortune in a tiled courtyard where the bougainvillea bearing violet ink a shade of them red. He spoke in a lexicon of the dust and in his geometry with a price on his pocket and a bonnet on his head. The Sirocco was hissing, a kissing, they hissed on my shoulder as the day grew older and the shadows began to who stretchy was a mirage in a garage of a broken European machinery of beautiful sketch that the Atlantic was waiting to ditch. We watched the freighters falter on the Fanta that were rising. Yeah, tide was rising like a secret we couldn't keep, and he gave me a dusty compass that pointed only to a nowhere and told me that promises are just the debts that the restless read. Oh, the white city is burning in the back of my mind. A summer in Casablanca that I'll never quite find. The fans are all spinning, but the air is still dead. Just the ghost of a man and the words that he said. The market was a labyrinth. I turned a corner near the mosque and the heat just swallowed him. No footprint in the sand, no ripple in the water, just the smell of scorched earth and expensive tobacco. Now I'm back in the gray where the rain is a permanent fixture, a fade of a mixture of regret and high-proof gin. But sometimes the ceiling fan turns into a propeller, and I'm a dweller in that white purgatory of a sin. I still have the compass, it's rusting in a shallow relic of us war that three of us. searching for the sparket that the darkened has nullified. The tip memories, a vivid, a technicolor portrait on the high wall. But the feeling is a phantom that won't answer when I call. I can see the color in a Casablanca. I can smell the cloven dish smoke. But I'm choking on the dryness of us, cruel and a silent the joke. The chemistry has vanished, the dopamine has fled, doing no one, leaving nothing but the outline of this hollow and frozen decur. I'm reaching for a frequency that I no longer possess, as distress and signal is sent from us, dying address. I try to trigger that shiver to mimic the ache, but it's a forgery, a fever that I'm forced to fake. The 8C of the present are the heat weights in the hall, watching the mercury in the thermometer and fall. I have the map and the compass, I have the keys, it's to the vault, but the treasure turned to ashes, and it's nobody's fault. Oh, I'm grasping at the ghost of a flame, calling out a feeling that forgot its own name. The synapse is broken, the wire is frayed. I'm just an echo of the debt that I paid. The static hasn't settled, the mercury's tame. The flicker of a fiction has an unreal flame. You're not a shadow or a cipher or a stain on the glass, or a ghost in the alley that I'm waiting to pass. You're the falling in the whiskey, the gravity in the floor, the hand that's not leaving but locking their door. The architecture of the lonely has finally collapsed in the steady epic cadence of the minutes that at a blast. There's a weight to your shoulder, of truth in your breath, of living in denial of the logic of the dead. I'm a trace in the vessels in the palm of your hand, like a map to a country where I finally can stand. No more syntax up a sorrow or a grammar of a gloom, just a simple and geometry of us in ocean. The think is still wet, but the story is the same. A shelter from the echoes and the African rain. Oh, I'm trading the ghost for the man by my side, with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. The city can howl, the sirens can scream, but you're the reality, waking the dream. I spent so long measuring the gaps between people, the negative space, but you're solid. I can hear your heart beating through the silk of your shirt. It's the only rhythm I need now. The brass is unbroken, the menagerie is still. The void in the center has started to fill. The weight of the Casablanca is a postcard on the shelf, as I slowly uncover the pieces of myself. So let the clock stop there ticking, let the radiators suggest the past and every lonely and this unforgiving test. I am housed in the present, I am anchored in the real. By the miracle of everything, I'm finally allowed to feel. Oh, I'm trading the ghost for the man by my side, with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. The city can howl, the sirens can. I am tired of the astonished avenue, of the ashen residue that clings to every shoe. I'm a mapping out a latitude where the latitude is wide, where the ocean isn't limited by the tide. The ceiling of this city is a vault of a dirty curve, watching intentions of a mediocre of intentions that pass. But I got a vision written on the back of a Herschel seat, of a version of my legacy that isn't hollow or discreet. I wanna create these shadow weeping stairs for the clarity of stars, to heal the jagged history of 1,000 hidden scars. This neon is a narcotic, it's a fever in the mean, but I'm thirsting for a purity that isn't washed in rain. I want a life that's just saturated, unfiltered, and unbowed above the heavy velvet of this permanent gray and cloud. I'm a tend of the darkness who's been evicted by the headlight, yet ready to surrender to the beauty, not the night. Oh, I'm drawing the blueprint of a different sky, where the colors are true and the spirits are high. I'm leaving the smoke for the gold and the blue, building a life that is honest and new. Ooh. wanna take up space in a room without wondering if I'm invited. I wanna be ignited, not just flickering. The city is small, the world is. I can feel it. Someone is shedding up her soul, that is guarding the disguise, looking at the distance with a pound of the hungering eyes. That architecture of the old is just a scaffolding for the new. As the mist begins to shrivel and the sun starts breaking through, I'll be the architect of the mornings, the curator of the dawn, until the memory of the monochrome is finally completely gone. It's as dangerous an ambition, it's a terrifying art. But I'm a stepping off the ledge and I'm a falling into unknown. I'm drawing the blueprint of a different sky, where the colors are true and the spirits are high. I'm leaving the smoke for the gold and the blue, building a life that is honest and new. Into the light, a better way. Watch the sky change. I am tired of this texture, this tarnished avenue, of the ashen residue that it clings to every shoe. I'm here mapping out a latitude where the latitude is wide, where the ocean isn't limited by the rhythm of the tide. The ceiling of this city is the butt of a dirty glass, watching centuries of a mediocre intentions past. But I've got a vision written on the back of a sheet, of a version of my legacy that isn't it hollow or you discreet. I wanna trade these shadowy stairs for the clarity of stars, to heal the jagged and history of 1,000 hidden ink scars. This neon is a narcotic, it's a fever in the vein. But I'm thirsting for a purity that isn't hug-washed in rain. I want a life that's saturated in unfiltered and unbowed, above the heavy velvet of this permanent and gray cloud. I'm a tenant of the darkness who's been evicted by the light, ready to surrender to the beauty, not the worry. Oh, I'm drawing the blueprint of a different sky, where the colors are true and the spirits are high. I'm leaving the smoke for the gold and the blue, building a life that is honest and new. It's not enough to survive. I wanna bloom. I wanna take up space in a room without wondering if I'm invited. I wanna be ignited, not just flickering. The city is small, the world is. I can feel it. So I'm shedding, depressing, discarding, looking at the distance with love to you, the Hungaries. With architecture of the oldest is just scaffolding for the new. As the mist begins to shrivel and the sun starts breaking through, I'll be the architect of the mornings, the kingmaker of the glow, until the memory of the monochrome is it finally completely gone. It's as dangerous an ambition, it's a terrifying height. But I'm stepping off the ledge and I'm falling into light. Oh, I'm drawing the blueprint of a different sky, where the colors are true and the spirits are high. I'm leaving the smoke for the gold and the blue, building a life that is honest and new. Into the light, a better way. Watch the sky I'm a ghost in this gallery of things that used to glimmer, tracing the outline of a light that's getting slimmer. In my sleep, the city is a vivid panorama, and I know exactly who and what and where I am about to be. I see the marquees melting in the gold before the story of the story was starting. Then was it so? I dream of us boulevard where the lights once and vibrant and clean, a place that I was alive before the world was only scheme. The asphalt was electric, a river made of rhinestones, where the music didn't another in these hollow monotones. The air tasted like sugar and the rain was only mist, before the magic was a handcuffed and a shackled at the wrist. I see the cabarets are blooming like the flowers made of fire, a shrine to every innocent and elegant and desire. The waiters were all poets and the gin was made of grace, and I didn't feel like a stranger in my own familiar face. Oh, I'm wandering the halls of the Museum of Neon Glow, searching for a heartbeat that stopped a lifetime ago, where the bulbs never flicker and the colors never fade, in the beautiful bright promise of the empire that we made. It's so bright there, you don't need the sun, everything just hums, the red, the blue, the violet. They don't just light the street, they light the soul. But when I wake up, my my hands are always dark. I am clinging to the celluloid of faded affections, presentation. The last remaining citizen of starlit condition. The modern world is muted, it's a pixelated, didn't mess a calculator's hit a version of a permanent proper address. But in the mid of my mind, the neon starts to burn to the logic of the glory I'm not destined to return. So I'll sleepwalk through the monochrome, a captive in a shroud, dreaming of the lightning in a technicolor cloud. Oh, I'm wandering the halls of the Museum of Neon Glow, searching for a heartbeat that stopped a lifetime ago, where the bulbs never flicker and the colors never fade, in the beautiful bright promise of the empire that we made. Let it glow one last time. The lights, they're so bright.